Well, good morning. My name is Carlos Hernandez. I'm a professor of biology in my country of Ecuador. So I'm sorry to tell you already, but if you can't understand my accent for some reason, just please let me know so I can pronounce it a little better for you or can understand me. The reason that I'm here today with your students, I understand you are 8th graders, and the reason that I'm here is because I wanted to talk about cloning. Cloning is being a subject for many years. There's actually a little bit of controversy, or not a little bit, but a huge controversy about cloning. Um, we all have faith. We have a religion background. Most of the religions, if it's not every single religion, has something against cloning. I heard sometimes that cloning is playing being God, because only God can create human beings and animals and everything that is alive in this planet. But now we have this cloning situation here, where we as a human beings have the knowledge and technology, we can say, to create life. And one of those creations was the ship called Dolly. I don't know if you have heard about it, but Dolly was the ship that was created way back, I'll say like 2003, I believe it was created in the country of Scotland. And in the country of Scotland, I was in the Rosling Institute. This is in Scotland. If you guys know a little bit of geography, Scotland is way north in the United Kingdom. If you think about England, then is Scotland on top of that. So they was created over there, and this ship was actually very popular because it was the first animal that we know, or like it was actually to the public, knowledge public, that was created by clonation or by cloning. So it was a ship. It was the first mammal. It was the first mammal that was cloned from an adult cell, and we'll talk about it later about what adult or young cell means. So she became the most world most famous clone. However, however, as the cloning already exists for many years, actually from the beginning of the starting of life, you can say, where a sexual bacteria is to recreate or reproduce, and also they call it the virgin birds, and they call it aphids. Clones are around and very fundamental. They're no different than other organisms. Clone has the same DNA. DNA is like basically is like where the core of life you can it exists. And the pattern has some generally identical, genetically identical situation to a clone with a human, you can say. Several clones have been produced, for many years. Not only ships, but like frogs, you can call mice and cows, have been cloned from the DNA and their embryos. Dolly, the Dolly was what was special with Dolly. Dolly was special because it was cloned from an adult cell. You know, this was a major discovery, the major scientific achievement. They demonstrated that we can take a DNA from an adult cell. Despite like any type of cell, they can be used to create an entire organism. Now, how was Dolly cloned? How it was created? How she was made? Cloning is like a fancy word you can say, but where they can use how she was cloned. So again, was Dolly was in the Rosling Institute in Scotland, where there were like 277 attempts to create this, to clone this Dolly, So that means that like it was 276 fails situations that never happened or that didn't happen. So for to do this, they use like a couple ships, you can say. One was a 6-year-old, and a fin dorsal. That was the type of ship that was a white ship that they use, and they have to reprogram it under the cells to keep them alive, so they can grow in outside of the ship. Then like if you think about the cell is like think about like an egg. An egg actually is the biggest cells that we have, and they have the yolk, and we have the soup around, like the white part of the egg, and that's if we see that under the microscope, we can see like a lot of like organisms in there, and then we can see like the mitochondria, we can see ribosomes, proteins. It's just like a whole new city in there. So we could take down some of that, and they use those cells, and they use from unfertilized egg that comes from a Scottish blackface ewe or sheep in this case. So they use it to, and they put it both together with some electrical pulses, just to keep it alive. And then Dolly was created. So that's how the embryo developed. And then the 6 or 7 days, they see like the cell actually divided and developed into a normally cell, and then they implant it into the surrogate mother. Surrogate mother is like a mother that you consider as we're renting or leasing the body, so we can put in there the embryo so they can grow. And another and then Dolly came out with a white face. She was a white face shape. So there was 277, as I said, cell fusions. 29 early embryos developed, and they were implanted into 13 surrogate ships again, or mothers in this case. But only one pregnancy went to a full term. So that means that like there were a lot of failures, And there was a 6.6 kilograms fin dorsal lamb. No, they're calling Dolly, and she was born after 148 days. How amazing is that? One thing is like we need to learn is about like you have to fail to become better. So nothing is easy, especially in science. It's expensive and it takes a lot of time. What Dolly did for the excuse me. So Dolly lived for a long time in the Roslin Institute up in Scotland, and she was born on July 5th, 1996. So that was a very important date for science. But then she suffered some illnesses, so she had to be put down or euthanized. I'm sorry, in February 14 of 2003. And that means that we have to put it down, because she lived for she was also 11 or 12 years old when she died, because she suffered of arthritis. There was one of her legs, her joints, and also from adenomatosis, pulmonary adenomatosis, which is very common actually in sheep. It's a lung tumor, which is raised inside the lungs. So that's what she had to put down. We needed to put it down. Why to clone sheep? Well, cloning is actually a very important part of science now. They're trying to fix, you can say, a lot of illnesses, especially like muscular dystrophy, and other illnesses that we live with. So cloning can be a very important part in science, very important for human beings, but at the same time, it has to be a lot of um, controversy with it, because somehow the religion has something against it. We all believe in whatever we believe, but creation has their point of view. The only God can make human beings or make life, But also God gave us the knowledge to survive in this planet. So if we give it the knowledge, now we found this, why not use it? So that's my question to all of you, and I would like to see hear some questions about it, and please I'll be do my best to answer.